Throwing out the first pitch at Fenway Park. Does that, I mean, you've done everything there is to do, it seems, but you haven't done this. So do you actually get a little nervous about this?
I was really nervous. And then everybody's got advice. Like, are you practicing? Make sure it doesn't bounce. I just got to make sure I warm up. But yeah, it's a tremendous honor. And, as a kid growing up here, this was it. And, you always had the curse of the babe, right? We'd get to the playoffs. And I remember, I'm wearing 27 tonight,
awesome.
Who was my hero, Carlton Fisk. And I remember 76 when he hit the home run. It was like, is it going to go? Is it going to go? And the next day at school, we would play that moment over and over again. And now to be here to throw out the first pitch is very special. And I remember sitting right over here where it's 14 and 15 in that area. First time I came to watch a game in person.
Down from Maine.
Yeah, I came down from Maine. It was a big trip for us.
See, now, I'm from Lewiston. You're from the suburbs of Lewiston.
Right.
But it's when you come down here, I try to tell people from Boston who came here a lot as a kid, like I came once a year if I was lucky.
Yeah.
And it was, oh my God, Fenway Park.
Well, the big trip into Boston was a big deal.
Right.
And then Fenway Park and the history, and was it 112 years this year?
Very good.
Coming up.
Yeah. But when you walk out here as a kid and the green is around you, it's just...
Well, you hear so much about the Green Monster, right? And then you see it in person, and then you see the crowd and the energy, and it was overwhelming. And I just remember smiling the whole time. And I still feel that way coming in today.
So do you have something in mind? I mean, so Will Ferrell came in throughout the first pitch years ago. And we had him on the show before the game. And he went out and imitated Louis Tiant, like the arms and legs and herky-jerky.
Oh, and the turnaround?
Yeah, the whole turnaround.
I thought about doing that.
That's it, yeah. He kind of pulled it off a little bit. And then, of course, you had Rob Gronkowski, right? Just spiked it.
Just spiked it. That was like a couple weeks ago,
Yeah, last Patriots Day.
Yeah.
Giselle Bundchen came in, and Dennis Eckersley was with me, and he said, well, you got to aim up because you're stepping down.
Right.
And she launched it like a 50 feet overhead,
and
then blasted him on the Today Show the next day. So I'm giving you no advice.
I'm just hoping
clear.
that doesn't happen. I can get it across the plate and it doesn't bounce.
We always say we only show them when they're horribly bad. So
well, maybe that's what
I hope we don't show it. Okay, I hope we don't show it tonight. You told me this before that you remember watching that Carlton Fisk home run in the '75 World Series.
Oh yeah, I see it as clear as it was like yesterday. It was such a big moment. And that was a great game. Went down to that pitch. Yeah. And then I just remember him going down first base line. He just said, go, go, go. And then it went over and it was like an amazing moment. And then the next day at school, everybody was reliving that moment.
Because everyone's parents let them stay up late.
Yeah.
It was really late. I remember going to school groggy-eyed the next day.
Oh yeah.
Like, so cool.
Well, we were so energized by that.
And you wear his number 27, which is really, really cool.
Well, I was a catcher. That's what I was the catcher, so he was my idol.
And speaking of idols, we were at the golf tournament last year, the Drive for Kids, up in Falmouth, and suddenly you've got a bat in your hand, and Roger Clemens is throwing to you.
Well, I had played around with Roger Clemens, which was great. I couldn't believe it, and he's so approachable, such a nice guy. And I think we were on maybe the 14th or 15th hole, and then this kid came out, and he said, "Hey, Roger, would you mind, can you play catch?" And then he had a bat too, and I'm like, well, can I hit against you? And he goes, yeah, sure. And we had a little game right in the middle of the golf course.
Is that like? Do you feel like a fan again? Are you Patrick Dempsey from Maine at that point, the Red Sox fan?
Absolutely. Turned back into a little kid. I mean, the whole round. I mean, he was playing worse than I was, which was good. I was happy about that. And we had a good time. We got a chance to get to know him, to talk to him, and the impact he made in this community is huge. So it was really special, and how genuine he was and how kind he was with the fans was nice to see.
Every year we do the Jimmy Fun Telethon, and every year he donates batting practice. He flies in, and you bring 10 people out, kids, whatever, and he does pitching lessons for them, and then he always doubles it. And just always willing to stop and give back, and you've always done that. Like, you've never forgotten about Maine. That's always been your foundation, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's where you come from. You learn your values there. I think Maine in general is really about community, about giving back. A lot of philanthropic work that's done there, that's quietly done. And I got some good advice early on, never forget where you come from. And I go back and you remember where you started, where you are today, where you want to go, and then what can you do to improve your community. And that's all the values that started here.
And I feel like you've kept that, I think, better than most people who have achieved success. You've made it part of who you are. Like the Peloton Project. You do movies that sort of reflect those values. You've always tried to bring that with you in your career, haven't you?
Yes, I think it forms you, and I think growing up, certainly in the Lewiston, Auburn area, at that time, a lot of those mills were closing. It's a very tough community, not a lot of hope, not a lot of inspiration. And so when anyone would come into the community, it was a big deal. And I never forgot that. And I look around and then, I was very fortunate where things happened for me, but I could still very easily be there, working. And a lot of the mills are gone, a lot of the industry's gone. And there's a lot of need there, and certainly what happened a year ago, we're 6 months out from the shooting, and we have to remember, we have to remember our community and support our community.
And you did that. You came out and posted some things and said some things. It meant a lot.
Yeah, we played softball. And there's nothing like getting people together to play baseball.
Bill Lee was there.
Yeah, he was there, so we had a great time. It was very competitive, a lot of good clubs that came up to support the event. And I had a lot of fond memories playing baseball in Lewiston, Auburn, Buckfield, Lewiston, Auburn, in that area, and then Turner as well. And it's just there's nothing like getting a ball and playing together, and that really was, I think, part of the healing process for everyone.
I remember I spoke at the vigil 2 days after, and I used the line, my son once said, was talking about, he's like, man, you've got a work ethic like nobody I know. And I remember just my immediate reaction was, well, I'm from Lewiston.
Right.
Like you have to.
You had to
you
work.
have to work.
If you wanted anything, you had to have a job, or you had to, I got down here maybe a couple times just because the family couldn't afford to do it. We always had food on the table, but you understood the value of the dollar and you had to go to work. I remember picking up drops and doing all that, and a few days of mucking stalls, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. But yeah, you have to have a good work ethic. And
that's carried you, obviously, and you've brought it back. The work you've done back home, the Dempsey Center, obviously you went through watching your mother battle cancer, and that kind of made you realize there was an opportunity to help other people going through things. Take us through that process.
Right, so my mother was diagnosed, I think it was in 97, 98, and she had over 12 reoccurrences. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Fought a really long battle until about 2014, and that was just too much. And when you have that diagnosis in the family, it's devastating. You don't know what to do, and you want to be able to give back. And thank God my sister worked in the hospital, so she could navigate the conversations with the nurses and the doctors and gave us an understanding. But it wasn't until I started working with the Amgen Tour de California that I was exposed to their Breakaway from Cancer initiative, and that's where the Wellness Center was first presented to me, or wraparound care. So what we do at the center, which was inspired by my mom's cancer journey, and there was nothing like this in Lewiston and Auburn at the time, is what we do is we don't treat the disease, we treat the person holistically in wraparound care, meaning counseling, health and wellness, comfort, nutrition, yoga, acupuncture, and Reiki. And we do that, and the services are at no cost to anyone who needs our support, as well as the caregivers and kids.
That's amazing.
And it was inspired by my mom's journey.
Right, and because again, there was nothing like that.
No, and our big mission is to really spread the word, because it should be, as soon as you're diagnosed, it should be standardized care. Because you can wait 2 or 3 weeks before you get your test results back, before you know exactly what you're going to do. And that's a time when we need to come in and help people sort of go, okay, what can we do to help support you and your family?
We were talking before about the home-based program they do here, and it's the same idea, right? Like there's medicines and there's treatments, and they say, here's your oncologist, and here's where you'll go for radiology.
Right.
But nobody holds your hand.
No, and
there's
also
no humanity.
There's no humanity, and what happens is once you're done your treatment, you're left, and you're done. And you've had great success with, treating disease, but now we need to treat the person, and that's where we come in.
The Dempsey Challenge has fueled this for a long time.
Yeah,
it's a huge event in Lewiston, by the way.
It's a big event, and it's really brought the community together too. And there's a lot of pride there. We couldn't do it without the community. The money that's been raised, I think we've close to $30 million now over the last 16 years. It will be September 21st this year. We've condensed it into one day where we do the run, the walk, and the ride, and that's really to promote people to stay active. Right? If you're active, you feel better emotionally, you feel better mentally, and it gives you that strength to fight the disease.
And the spirit of it.
Tremendous spirit. Right? Because people are there because they want to be. They've been impacted. Their hearts are wide open, and it's a really special day.
And it's grown, right? I mean, it was in Lewiston, now it's Portland. I know there's a new
Well,
one.
we have two facilities
Rock
now,
Road,
right?
Yeah.
So we have the Lewiston, which was the original
Right.
center, and now we're in South Portland. We're waiting for our new facility, which will be in Rock Row in February of 25, because we're just bursting at the seams in Portland right now. And the services, the word is getting out there, and people come in and they're so relieved that they have this support system.
In full disclosure, I just had my first board meeting
Yeah,
as
you
a
did.
member of the board, so I actually know a little bit of what I'm talking about here.
And we have a great board too. We have some
Amazing
really great
group of
people who understand, who have been impacted themselves, either personally or a family member, and the compassion is incredible.
But I found it, what I didn't know, being a guy from Maine and knowing what I thought I knew about the center and the support, is that it's now spreading outside New England. Like
Yes.
32 states, I think.
We're servicing 32 states,
Yeah.
yes.
Which is
Virtually. So,
virtually, right. But
like-
that kind of came out of COVID, right? I
We
mean,
did.
like,
We were
yeah.
always working on that, and then with COVID, that really accelerated the program. And now we're treating a lot of people virtually. And certainly in rural Maine, it's very hard to get into Lewiston, especially if you're up north. The word's getting out there, so people are calling in, and it's benefiting a lot of people.
It's amazing, isn't it, that we kind of go to technology, we talk about humanity, but you're actually connecting people to have a human conversation through the technology.
Right, because we're listening to them.
Right.
Right, and they can communicate. They can let go of all of the fear and the anxiety with a professional who knows how to take care of them. But now we're starting to see more of people wanting to come back into the center, that wanted to be in person, which is really good, and working together as a group. And the demand is very high, which means we have to work much harder with our fundraising because all of these services are free. So our mission is, and our goals are being reached, which means we have to work even that much harder now to raise the money to make sure that these services are at no cost.
Where does it go from here?
Just spreading the word nationally, right? I mean, there are a lot of people throughout the country didn't realize this was the type of thing that was possible, that the supportive care is there. We're reaching out to other like-minded centers. We just discovered a wonderful called Cancer Care in New York City. They've been around since 1944. It was inspired by a man who lost both his mother and father within 6 months, and we're continuing that. And then basically making people aware, that's our mission nationally, and then connecting with other like-minded centers throughout the country. And we're also servicing 4 countries as well.
Wow. And people can help. Obviously, they can sign up for the challenge.
They can sign up for the challenge. It's going to be September 21st this year. And you can go online to dempseychallenge.org and register. Or if you need any help, go to the dempseycenter.org and see if we can help you with any of the online services that we have.
Okay, I think I've just set a record. It's the longest interview you've gone without anybody asking about being the sexiest man on earth. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very
Because
much.
here you're just a Maine Sports Hall of Famer,
Right.
a driver. You know, sexy comes way down on the list of the
It's
baseball.
sort of funny that it's happening at this point in my life. So nice to have the attention at my age.
What was the reaction? Like,
I always thought somebody was joking. I thought they were making fun of me, but it worked out nicely. So I enjoy the attention.
but no lie. I mean, you're a Maine Sports Hall of Famer.
I am, yeah. No, it's a tremendous honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of the challenge and certainly with racing,
Yeah.
you know, sports car racing, and I'm getting ready to go. I'll go to Spain tomorrow for a 2-day test in Barcelona, and I'll get back in the car this year. I've got 4 races in a new endurance series with Porsche. We've got a couple good sponsors on board, Tag Heuer and Mobile One will be taking care of us.
As thrilling now as it was when you first got behind the wheel?
Even more so, I appreciate it that much more now. I took a break in 2015. I reached all my goals, and it was a tremendous sacrifice. Like anything you want to do and do it well, you're going to have to sacrifice something. It was a lot of time away from my family, and I was like, I can't justify this anymore. I wanted to get on the podium at Le Mans. I achieved that. And then I could feel there was a dissipation of energy, just, you know, where I was like, this is not, the fire's not there anymore. I want to be home, I want to be with my kids, and I want to be with my wife and family. And then I just sort of stepped back from a lot of things, other than, of course, the center. It allowed me more time to spend at the center and to help there. And now I'm getting back into it. My son's like, yeah, Dad, you got to get back in the car. I think he has an agenda as well.
Well,
Just don't tell his mother.
I was going to ask that because players will say, like, you have young kids and it all takes you away from them.
Yes.
But then there comes a point where they're old enough to appreciate what you're doing, and now you share it with them.
Yes, I did. I had my my son just got his license, and I took him to the Experience Center in Carson, which is Porsche does this teen driving school, which is really helpful for car control, situational awareness, understanding what the car is capable of. If there's a great track, because we have so much snow and rain up here, you can lose control of the car really quickly. So it teaches the eye-hand coordination and how to get the car corrected, and he had a great time doing that.
It's funny. My wife was a claims insurance adjuster for a while, so I felt bad for my two sons because they were constantly, nope, we're going out. Like after they got their license, but it's really important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you do the written exam and then you drive a little bit, but I think it's important if you have an opportunity or there's anything in this community where there's a driving program, I highly recommend it.
So you're going back to drive. What's next for Patrick Dempsey?
Really focusing on the center. That's been the big thing. Getting my kids now into college, that's the next step. So we're doing a lot of tours. There's that pressure, and then we'll see how they are in the world.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you. Thanks
Good
for
to
having me
see
here
you.
today.
Awesome. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Well done.
See you on the golf course.
See you on the golf course. I'll
I'll
be
see you in the
way
woods
back.
getting the balls. All right, it's over there again.
Yeah.